Hey guys, how's it going? Brian Burns here with the Master Key Group at RE/MAX Downtown, and we were talking about the fundamentals of real estate investing. Last week we talked about what most of your first investment in real estate will be, and that is your primary residence. Now what we're going to go over is different product types, okay, and that's different property styles that you can purchase, okay. So today we have single family and multifamily, then we're going to go over townhouse, condo, luxury, new construction, and then we're going to spend a full day doing a deep dive into vacation short-term rental. Now, a big thing to consider when you are looking at an investment property is what your goal is. That's actually the first question that I ask any of my investors, especially someone who's their first time investing, okay? Now, when I talk about goal, and when I ask people about their goals, their first response is to make the most money possible. Of course, right? The real question I'm asking is what means to the end, okay? So you could have property A that's in an area that is going to appreciate very rapidly in value, but it's not gonna have as great a return on your rent. You might break even on rent, but you're waiting for that big payout at the end. Or you might have something that will appreciate probably a little slower in value, but it will have a much higher monthly income. Okay, so those are basically two great ways to highlight how different goals can match up with different property styles. Okay, let's get into what we're going over today, which is single family, multifamily. Some pros: the point of entry in the single family home product is great. It's you can put in as little as 5 to 10% and still make money on it. Appreciation in value. Now, generally speaking, I'm going to use this term a lot because there's no finite answer. It's different from market to market, but generally speaking, single family homes appreciate faster than condos and townhouses. Not only that, but if I had a townhouse, a condo, and a single family home all in the same condition, and I was to put $40,000 into each one of them, I would probably get a higher return on my investment with a single family home, okay? That brings me to my next point, is that they are generally easier to sell. Now, if I have a multifamily unit, I'm probably going to be selling it to another investor. Investors want deals, right? Now, with this one, we have a larger buyer pool because I could also sell this home to someone who's going to use it as a primary residence, which is probably where I'm going to get my best price, because they're not looking for something that's going to make them money. That's not necessarily the point of it, right? Now, obviously, of course, they have a budget, but someone who's shopping for them and their family are more likely to purchase with their heart rather than focus so much on their budget. They would be more likely to justify their increased budget with, for instance, say falling in love with the cobblestone streets in the front or the garden in the back. They're more likely to pay a premium for that because the investor who's buying over here doesn't care about that. The best case scenario is that he doesn't ever have to see the property again, and it's just a paycheck every month, okay? Then you have your number of tenants. It seems like an odd thing to say as a pro because you just have one family living there, but when we get to multifamily, we'll talk more about that. You have lower carrying costs. Now, the big thing about this is the carrying costs of especially like HOAs. Condos are generally going to have a much higher HOA than a townhouse, and a townhouse will have a higher HOA than a single family, if it even has one. Now, of course, you do have your carrying costs of pest control, lawn care, and things like that, but overall, they're probably going to be lower than that of a townhouse or a condo, or especially a luxury home, right? They're generally easy to manage, which kind of ropes back into number of tenants, and it has good annual income. So now you're getting a product that is great in appreciation over time, and it also has great income potential, like I said up here, that you could even put 5 to 10% down and still probably make good money on it, okay? So the cons: larger repair replace costs. Now, this is like big ticket items, like for instance, a roof or resurfacing a pool. Those are expensive, right? And then it kind of ropes in with this one, is that you are responsible for all of it. So if the water heater breaks, that is your responsibility. The AC, that's you. But also things like exterior paint that are, things that are covered by the HOA or condo fee that you're paying on these other property types, because they'll cover condos and townhouses. you're more or less only worried about what's inside your four walls. That's it. They cover the landscaping, they cover the roof, they cover the exterior paint. They really handle everything, which makes them a great product for somebody who's, out of state or something like that. Okay. Now let's go over to multifamily. That would be a duplex, triplex, quadplex, basically anything beyond single family. All right. Point of entry is great for these ones, and then you also have a great annual income because now you have, basically 4 single-family homes wrapped into one. They're generally not, a full, 2,000 square foot home that multiplied by 4, right? So you're not going to get as good a return on these per unit, but the overall, say you bought a quadplex, you might make twice as much as you do with this property, okay? And which takes me down to the one mortgage thing, and we'll talk about that. And your maintenance and repair costs are generally lower, okay? So where you may be able to put in a $400 stove range in a quadplex, that would probably be a $4,000 stove range in a luxury home, just because of the clientele and the people that are living there and what they're expecting would be more of the appropriate word to use, what they're expecting. And then one mortgage. So now, if I was to buy this, I only close on this one time, which means when I sell it, I only close on it one time as well. When you close on a home, when you buy or sell, you have all of your closing costs, realtor fees, anything like that, and you only have to do that once at the beginning, once at the end. If I wanted to match this product with this one, I would have to buy 2 of these, which means I have to close twice on both ends, all right, which cuts into your bottom line. And then low carrying costs. So this one, we talked about landscaping and pest control and all that. This quadplex is probably built on the same lot size as this one, but it's 4 units on one lot. So you're getting all of those costs built into, basically one bill. Whereas this one, if you were to buy 2 of these to match, they may not even be close to each other. So you have 2 separate bills, right? Now the cons, value and appreciation. Not to say that it's not going to go up in value, but we already talked about it. Person who's going to be buying these is probably going to be an investor. Now with a duplex, you can purchase it as a primary residence and receive those tax benefits and then rent the other side out. I haven't seen it very much, but it is a possibility. But especially for triplex, quadplex, and above, it's going to be another investor. They're not going to fall in love with the cobblestone streets or the garden in the back, like I said, right? Because the best case scenario is they never have to see the property again, and it's just a check every month. All right. Maintenance and repair. So whereas the cost of these things is lower, you're also increasing it exponentially. Let's go back to that quadplex. The quadplex has 4 water heaters, 4 air conditioners, 4 kitchens. Those are all the biggest ticket, things that you're going to have, and it has 4 of them. But fortunately, the maintenance and repair is a little bit less, but you are multiplying it by however many units that you have. Now, this is where it comes to number of tenants, like I said over here, because here in, say, our quadplex, Notorious B.I.G. said it, more money, more problems. Well, Notorious B.R.Y. says more tenants, more problems. So the more people, the more human factor, I guess is the best way to put it, the more human factor you have in your rent collection, the more potential problems that there could be, okay? Which brings me to another point, which is one of the most important things when investing, is to find the right tenant. When I meet with a client and they are purchasing a property, I actually find them their first tenant. I had a horrible experience with my first tenant, and I would not want to wish that on anybody else or any of my investors, because I thought to myself, I said, if this was any of my clients, they would never invest in real estate again. It's just been a complete, pain in the butt. So, and I would have much rather taken a tenant who is paying less money monthly, but paid on time. So finding the right tenant is one of the most important things to do, which is why I do the first, tenant placement for my clients when they do it, just because that is one of the unforeseen costs that you really can't put a number on a good tenant. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, I will see you guys next week where we're going to be going over townhouses and condos, and I'll see you then. Bye.